Alrighty, today we are going to talk about 3 of my favorite tips for successfully beginning and ending a diet. And all of this comes from my experience as a natural bodybuilder, coach, and just generally what I've read. The reason I think these tips are going to help you out is because the hardest parts about dieting are how do you structure your goals, how do you begin to lose weight, and then on the back end, how do you complete a diet successfully and maintain the lower body fat. So if you're interested in that, let's get to what makes diets unsustainable. I think it's multifactorial, but some of the things that I've seen in my time as a personal trainer and gym manager is that people go too hard up front. They don't set specific, measurable, adaptive, realistic, and timely goals. They just begin cutting away, or they begin engaging in restrictive or elimination types of dieting just to lose the maximum amount of weight up front, and then they have nowhere to cut after that. Tip number 1, set small, realistic goals. Set a time frame for your dieting. Could be 8 weeks, could be 12 weeks, could be 4 weeks, but pick a definitive time frame and don't make it too long. If you're not going into a contest preparation, there's really no reason to diet for any longer than 12 weeks at a time without taking some kind of a break. So that means if you want to lose, like, let's say 20 pounds, you set your calories such that you are going to lose 1 to 2 pounds a week over the course of a 12-week diet. All things go well, you're going to lose somewhere in the 12 to 24 pound range. We all know that's not the way it works. You're going to slow down. You're going to lose more up front. It is what it is. However, if after the first few weeks you are still losing a higher percentage of your body weight, so let's say nearing 1.5% of your body weight, maybe you want to slow down. Maybe you want to add back in a few more calories. So by setting this specific time frame, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it is, and by setting small weekly weight loss goals, you're going to be able to sustain your dieting throughout and not fall off because you lost too much up front, you cut too many of your calories up front, and now you have nowhere to go other than to add exorbitant amounts of cardio. So tip number 1, set small, specific, measurable, adaptable, realistic, and timely goals. Or if you like Eric Helms' acronym, realistic, enjoyable, and flexible. Love that acronym. Setting goals in such a fashion will help you begin your dieting and will pay dividends in the long run the longer you do diet. Tip number 2, have a reverse out strategy. Now, a lot of us, I think, have heard of reverse dieting or recovery dieting, however you want to verbalize that, but it essentially just means having a plan once you're done with your diet. So to set up for this, you must have sort of an endpoint in mind for your dieting, and that endpoint is when you start your reverse or recovery out. It is important that after you are done dieting, that you don't maintain the calorie deficit that you're in, and you find a way to gradually bring calories back up. So why would it be important to bring calories back up? Well, you are going to want to reintroduce calories because 1, you don't want to maintain that deficit. Number 2, you can maintain your new level of body fat at a surprisingly higher amount of calories, and you won't figure that out until you've increased calories some. And by sort of reversing out of your current deficit gradually, you reintroduce calories in such a way that your body will get used to it and not accumulate a ton of body fat. Additionally, any sort of initial gains from sort of an influx of carbohydrates, which I imagine that will be a large portion of the calories, the new calories that are going to be coming back in. So some amount of weight gain is going to be due to water, yes, a little bit to body fat, and some to recovery and muscle mass. So my favorite reverse out strategy is to take where you began your diet, let's say 3,000 calories, take where you ended, let's say 2,000 calories, and meet somewhere in between. This means that after you're done dieting, the week after you're done dieting, you want to, and yes, it's somewhat of a big jump from 2,000 to 2,500 because that is halfway in between. Now, I got this idea from 3DMJ, and you will find it in their awesome Vault series, and you should sign up for that. And this is just a good starting point and a good heuristic to engage in whenever we are trying to reverse out of a diet. Find the halfway point between where you started and where you ended, jump calories back up to there, and then gradually add in calories week after week and see what your weight does. Tip number 3, whenever we're coming out of a dieting phase. So let's say we've got out of a dieting phase. We started to work our way back up to maintenance. We got from 2,000 to 2,500. We've taken a couple weeks and added 150 here or there, and we're almost back up to around 3,000 calories. We have put on a couple pounds, but in the scheme of things, we probably lost 12 or more pounds. Let's just say we lost 12 or more pounds. And so the gains we have made in the fat loss have mostly maintained. What's the next tip here? Is it to cut again? Nope, absolutely not. The next tip here is to stick in a maintenance phase. So what's a maintenance phase? A maintenance phase is a period of isocaloric dieting where you maintain a certain amount of calories, and maintain your body weight. During this time period, you want to sort of test by increasing your training volumes and playing around with adding 100, 200 calories to see if you can work your calories up. So as per our prior example, let's say we're around 3,000 calories and we're maintaining 170 pounds. For 1 week, we want to work that up to 3,100 calories, just to see if we can maintain right around 170 pounds. And if so, the next week, maybe we go up another 100 calories and we go up and up and up and up and up into a point where we begin to gain weight, and then we pull those calories back just a little bit, and that will be your maintenance. Now, this is a very specific way to determine your maintenance, and some of it is, again, predicated on your training volumes. However, training volumes is something separate, but this skill can be applied to any amounts of training volumes, but your calorie expenditure is going to vary, so keep that in mind. And if you apply these 3 tips the next time you start dieting, if it's the first time you start dieting, I have no doubt that you will benefit from maintaining a lot more of your gains. So just remember, upfront, set specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely goals, i.e. in the length of your diet, whether it be 8 weeks or 12 weeks, in the amount of weight loss you lose from week to week, right around 0.5% to 1% of your body weight. Then you want to have a reverse out strategy so that you can begin increasing your calories so you're not sustaining that deficit. And then you want to stick to a maintenance period. And I forgot to mention, I would stay in that maintenance period for at least half to the entirety of the time you were dieting. So let's say you dieted for 12 weeks, you could stick in maintenance period for 8 to 12 weeks, just so that your body can get used to that. I think being in maintenance is a skill that not a lot of us have. We conceptualize fitness and bodybuilding as in gaining or losing phases, but I think there is some value to be had to sticking in a maintenance period. Alrighty, folks, remember, starting a diet is about setting yourself up for success, having a strategic plan to back out of the diet, and maintaining balance afterwards. So, if you enjoyed these tips and they were helpful, shoot me a comment, and I'll see you in the next episode for another mental skill or fitness tip. Hope I see you there.